This is All India Radio. Please stand by for our next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Times of India, in its editorial titled A New Beginning, says on Saturday, 5 judges of the highest court of the land, including the Chief Justice of India, put their best foot forward to deliver a unanimous verdict on what has been an intractable religious dispute running on for more than a century. The judicial resolution by the topmost court came after India's politicians proved themselves unequal to the task and all mediation efforts failed. Let the verdict now draw a line under the dispute so that India can heal and move on. A good start has been made, with most political parties welcoming the judgment. At stake is individual progress, communal harmony, national unity and constitutional morality. India's multicultural ethos has always prided itself for tolerance to diversity and accepting the equality of religions. In allocating the disputed land where Babri Masjid once stood for construction for Ram Temple, Supreme Court has recognized evidence of a long unbroken tradition of worship by Hindus at the site by directing the central UP government to award 5 acres of land within Ayodhya city at a prominent location to build a mosque. Supreme Court was conscious that judgment would not prevail if Muslims were not remedied for the 1949 desecration when idols were surreptitiously placed inside Babri Masjid, followed by its unlawful destruction in 1992. The centre as well as the state governments must also accept and strictly uphold this judgment's stipulation calling on them to abide by the Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991, which forbids the conversion of any other place of worship as it existed on August 15, 1947. The Indian Express, in its editorial titled Pilgrim's Progress, writes, November 9, 2019 will go down as a rare day in the history of the Indian subcontinent, on which two nations managed to put aside the distrust and hostilities to jointly facilitate a pilgrimage for a small religious minority in India. Access to Gurudwara Darbar Sahib in Pakistan's Kartarpur has been a part of the hopes and prayers of 3 generations of Sikhs separated by partition from many of their most important places of worship. The shrine, built at the site where Guru Nanak, founder of the Sikh faith, is said to have spent the last 18 years of his life, is 4 kilometers from Dera Baba Nanak on the Indian side, and on a clear day can be spotted through the bulrushes on the banks of the Ravi. Until September 2018, when Pakistan and India agreed that a visa-free Kartarpur corridor from Dera Baba Nanak be fast-tracked in time for Guru Nanak's 550th birth anniversary, a visit to Kartarpur Sahib for believers on the Indian side meant viewing the Gurdwara through binoculars from a security forces watchtower near the border. Since then, both sides have defied history and an extraordinary year of hostility in their relations to give shape to the corridor and the prayers of millions of people. The Economic Times, in its editorial titled A Little Too Moody to Be Realistic, writes, global rating agency Moody's has changed its outlook for Indian economy to negative from stable, while reaffirming its current long-term sovereign rating at Baa2, its second lowest investment grade score. Moody's has cited the ongoing deceleration on the growth front to revise its outlook for India, but we are in the midst of a global economic slowdown with growth prospects weak, lackluster and even negative in nature and emerging markets. True, India's short-term indicators have worsened of late in the face of subdued demand, but the fact remains that the economic fundamentals for the medium term and beyond remain solid. The Hindustan Times, in its editorial titled MGNREGS, an insurance against poverty, writes, last week Hindustan Times reported that the government is actively considering allowing use of machines in MGNREGS works in some states. The trigger for such consideration has come from the request from the states which have submitted their rocky terrain makes it difficult to do manual work under the scheme. MGNREGS, by its very definition, is supposed to be manual, unskilled work, most of which can be largely substituted by machines. So, while this tweaking in rules dilutes the fundamental character of the program, the government believes that as long as the criterion of spending at least 60% of the expenditure on labor payments is adhered to, there is no problem. Those were the comments from the press presented to you by the News Services Division.